Meghan Markle, in what was supposed to be an elegant fashion moment, ended up giving the world a lesson in how to make everyone cringe. Imagine this: Meghan, in Paris, dressed head to toe in Balenciaga, feet propped up on the dashboard, windows down, and giggling like she's in a teen movie montage. But here's the twist: she's cruising right past the tunnel where Princess Diana tragically lost her life. The same tunnel. The irony? Impossible to ignore. It felt like Meghan was saying, "Look at me, the world is at my feet," while casually driving through a place soaked in royal trauma. It wasn't just tacky, it was downright bizarre. And this wasn't some random moment either. The angles, the timing, the lack of music, which Meghan usually adds to avoid content reuse, all screamed stage managed. She had just left her hotel, barely a 10-minute walk from the Flame of Liberty, a monument dedicated to Diana's memory. This wasn't a coincidence. It was a carefully choreographed stunt. Even Marcus Anderson, sitting beside her in the front seat, looked like he wanted to disappear into his coat. The entire moment reeked of a PR play. Meanwhile, back in the US, Megyn Kelly wasn't holding back. She bluntly called Meghan not a well person. Honestly, after watching the footage, it's hard to argue with that. Meghan crossed a line. There's a fine balance between media savvy and tone deafness. And Meghan bulldozed right past it. How do you joke around in a car, past the place where your husband's mother tragically died? And as if that wasn't jarring enough, Meghan and Prince Harry arrived in New York right after, all smiles, ready to accept their Humanitarians of the Year award. The irony: this happened on the very same day the world was reeling from geopolitical conflicts, and Donald Trump was out here claiming he'd solved world peace. While the world was bracing for chaos, the Sussexes were posing with trophies, basking in praise. But praise for what exactly? No one seemed to know. And then came the scandal involving Harry's charity, African Parks. Once lauded for his humanitarian work, Harry is now under fire for the mess that's unfolded at African Parks. The New York Times, once a supporter, turned brutal in its critique, accusing Harry of mismanagement and negligence. Allegations of poaching, missed funding, and broken agreements have surfaced, but Harry has remained completely silent. It's bizarre. A man who's quick to release a statement over anything else has yet to address a charity crumbling under his name. And this is where things get real. While Meghan's Paris stunt seemed more like a PR fail, Harry's silence and neglect feel like a deep moral failure. The man who once had the royal machine behind him now seems more interested in living a quiet life in Montecito than actually doing the work. And as his humanitarian legacy implodes, the world's no longer buying the brand. Things didn't stop with the charity scandal. The real shock came when people started dissecting Meghan's Paris video. Frame by frame, it became clear. This wasn't a spontaneous moment. It was a performance. The bare feet, the soft giggles, the car gliding through Paris. It all screamed influencer vibes, not grief. And when the camera panned to the window showing the tunnel where Diana met her tragic end, the subtlety vanished. Meghan wanted us to connect the dots, and we did, but not in the way she intended. Then came the Humanitarian of the Year award. It turned out the organisation behind it, Project Healthy Minds, wasn't exactly a non-profit run by seasoned charity professionals. The team was packed with media and entertainment industry types, many with ties to companies like NBC Universal. Translation: this wasn't about merit. It was about visibility. If you have the right profile and connections, you get an award. No questions asked. Public backlash grew as people began to realise the awards were little more than well-scripted media stunts. Even Meghan's once dedicated supporters started questioning her moves. You could feel the shift. The media, which once fawned over Meghan and Harry, was now turning colder. Headlines became more critical, and the public's patience was starting to wear thin. But the real turning point came when Meghan posted her movements around New York in real time. She shared her whereabouts, her outfits, her exact location. No concern for privacy or security. At the same time, Meghan and Harry were claiming they were constantly at risk. People began to ask the hard questions. If your safety is such a concern, why are you posting your every move? Why live stream your location, your feet in full glam, and then claim to be in fear for your life? The irony was almost too much. Speculation started to swirl that Meghan might have orchestrated a paparazzi moment, hoping to create a chased by the press narrative. But here's the thing, Meghan's fame doesn't have the same gravity as Diana's. The press knows it. She's not the royal mystery, the tragic icon. She's a celebrity trying to control her own narrative. And sometimes it shows. Meanwhile, Harry was stirring up his own media drama, hinting at a stalker situation. But when the press dug deeper, they found out the alleged stalker was just a fan, a group of black women who were harmlessly following Harry around. What followed was more media manipulation, desperately trying to distract from real issues. While Meghan and Harry's PR stunts crumbled, the contrast couldn't have been starker. Catherine, Princess of Wales, was quietly stepping into the spotlight for something far more meaningful. Without cameras or staged moments, she wrote an essay about the loneliness epidemic in collaboration with psychologist Robert Waldinger. Her words were simple but powerful. True power isn't in clicks or awards. It's in genuine connection. Catherine's essay didn't come with a designer dress or a perfect Instagram filter. It was pure honesty, vulnerability, and wisdom. She spoke about connection like it was oxygen, and it resonated with people deeply. At a time when every other celebrity is using their children for content, Catherine is doing the opposite, protecting their peace and their privacy. And the public noticed. People began to see the difference between Meghan's orchestrated chaos and Catherine's genuine approach. It was like night and day. The Sussexes PR game began to crumble under the weight of their own performances, while Catherine quietly became the leader the world was starting to trust. In the end, Meghan and Harry missed the point. The world can forgive almost anything except inauthenticity. Once the mask slips, there's no going back. Meanwhile, Catherine continues to show up with purpose, speaking with care and living the values she preaches. That's what the public remembers.